the Cloud Suite 7.0 product. I'm not absolutely sure if we'll have time for questions right now, but Ken and I will be here for the rest of the day, so just come to us and we can talk with you guys, and we'll be very glad to. So the demo format. We tried something a little different. This is the same demo that we did for our company once we were getting ready to release Moab Cloud Suite 7.0. Basically, it's for a non-developer audience, and we're going from the perspective of key personas, admins and end users. We're going to highlight the major new features and benefits of our new cloud product and demonstrate out-of-the-box capabilities available with 7.0. So no smoke and mirrors. This we will have a live demo, and this is what you get out of the box. So this is based on the real 7.0 environment, oh, it's not a detailed top-to-bottom training demonstration because we're just focusing on the key new things that we're really excited about. So let me give you a little background on the format of the demo. So we have this company, Acme Corporation. They're one of our existing HPC customers and an early adopter of new Moab Cloud Suite. So you have two personas in here. Ken will be representing the admin, and Luis, myself, will be representing the cloud user. So Ken is an Acme corporate IT admin, and he will serve both HPC and cloud users. And he wants something that is powerful, flexible, and makes his life easier. Luis, myself, will represent the corporation's search advertising business unit. So I basically want IT to do their job so that I can do mine. What we're going to be showing is the end user going to the IT admin and tell him, hey, we need this environment, and we're going to need several instances over time. We don't want to go through the hassle of a very bureaucratic process. We just want to go to a portal and click and get the environment so that my team can do their job, okay? So, little background on the cloud demo environment. Again, this is a Moab Cloud Suite 7, version 7.0. It includes the Moab Cloud Manager, our meta-scheduler engine. It includes Viewpoint, our portal, which includes Tomcat, MySQL, and a MySQL database that supports it. We also include Moab Web Services, which are making a first here. We're releasing the first version. We just released the first version, that's what I meant. And we're very excited about that. We also include the Moab Accounting Manager, which was formerly known as Gold. MSM, the Moab Services Manager, which is the piece that integrates with the different resource managers like xCAT, Nagios, and others. We have xCAT version 269. MongoDB, which is the database that we use to support both the Moab Web Services and also a resource manager component that we now include with this version of our Cloud Suite to represent OMDB. And we also include Nagios for some very basic monitoring capabilities, like checking if the environment is up and running and if it's ready to be consumed. So the only thing we want to point out is that this is the experience that you should get out of the box. But we did some data staging, so some service templates, and we'll get into detail into that in a minute, have been predefined in the service catalog so that we don't have to go through the whole process to define all the little components of the service that we want to submit. And the business units have been predefined in the Moab Accounting Manager too. This should have started with Luis sending an email out to Ken saying, hey Ken, my business unit, search and advertising, needs a LAMP stack. LAMP stack is basically just a service that contains usually a web service, a web server instance and a database instance too. My business unit needs that, so I just sent an email to Ken asking for him to set that up in the portal so that we can then request it every time we need it, right? So Ken gets my team set up. You will start by creating a new cost center in the Moab Accounting Manager. You will then create a standard service catalog for my team to use. And again, we'll go into detail on what a service is and the service catalog and all those things when we get to that part of the demo. Then I'll take a test drive where I'll submit multiple services from the service catalog and verify that they are in the card and they submitted, how much they cost and all those things. Submit a custom service to, and then view the requested actions, which will basically show us the detailed steps of what is going on in the provisioning process, and also show the actual services in our new View Services dashboard. Then Ken will check the node utilization. He will go to the View Nodes dashboard, which is a brand new dashboard that we created. We're very excited about that. It will filter nodes by health and all those things. You'll play around with the filters. And I'll end the demo by checking my remaining balance so that I can actually prove to you guys that I was charged for what I consumed. So hopefully everything will go smoothly, because this is a live demo and the connection might not be perfect, but we'll do our best. So I'll hand over control to Ken. So Ken is the admin. He will start by, he has just gotten my request, and he will now create the cost center and all those things in order for me to be able to use the system.
Okay. Yeah, so like I said, so my name's Ken. I'm going to be playing the admin in this instance. So the first thing I'm going to do, obviously, let's log in. And is that the right one?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah? Just making sure. Okay. So Luis, he told me that he has a need to be able to, for his team to be able to request lamp stacks easily. Now, previously, there might have been times where he might have had to bug me every single time he needed that. In this case, we're going to try and use a cloud solution so that I don't have to do as much. I can focus on other things, and it's easy for him to get what he needs. But the very first thing is that service, if he's going to be requesting services, requesting resources, he's got to have money. It costs money. So the first thing is we're actually going to go to the accounting manager, and we can actually do that inside Viewpoint. Now, I do have to log into the portal itself, but is that the right password? Yeah? All right, cool. Okay. So we're setting him up right from the beginning here. First thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to make him a cost center. So let's do that. All right. And for his purposes, we said this is the Acme Corporation, but let's say they do search. They're doing web searches, and they need some development on it. So I'm going to use a name that means something to us. So we'll do dev search. We'll do, search advertising, and then give it a meaningful name here. We'll call it whatever. And we got Luis here as one of the users. Got him checked. We just going to do that. Create a new cost center. All right. Cost center was successful. I can actually list the cost centers too. And we'll see there Luis. So the information we put there, we have our dev search cost center. And the cost center is where I can gather these users, but I also need a pool of money that they can use. So we're going to need to make an account as well. So we're going to create a new account. We'll also call that, it's right there, dev search. And we'll use that same one too. So I need to just link it, and I don't cap that. So I want to link the account to the cost center that I just made. So just add that. Create new account. Okay, and if actually before I list accounts, let's actually put some money in it. There's nothing in it right now. Account ID, I can get the account IDs right here. I see, hey, this is the one I made. Dev search. And he told me 5,000. I trust him. So we're going to do that. 5,000. Make a deposit. Successful. And now I can actually display. Let's see. Let's list the accounts. Pre-filter accounts. Okay, there we go. Dev search. See, we got the 5,000 there. It's associated with the cost center that I wanted. This is good. The only other thing to make it a lot easier for him is that I can also make this his default cost center for all the work that he's doing. So I'm going to modify user, take Luis there, and I'm going to give him the default cost center of dev search. Good. So now I can tell Luis that, hey, I set up your cost center. You should go and check it out and make sure everything looks okay. So let's log me out.
Okay. So at this point, Luis, the end user, would log on to the system and we just verify that he can access the accounting manager and that there is a cost center with enough money for me to get started. So we go to list accounts, and here's my account, just like I expected it, with the balance that I want. And I can also see this option here to list the charge rates, so that I can actually see how much I will pay for things when I start consuming resources from the environment. So for instance, I can see here real easy that for each processor, I will pay $5 per day. For each gigabyte of RAM, I'll pay $1 and all those things. So I'm happy. I now want to be able to actually use the system, so create it for me.
Right, so he's got money. Now he needs to be able to spend it. So I'll log back in. So one of the things we can do here is that so again, I don't want to have to make every lamp stack form every time. And to make this whole process smoother on everyone, one thing I can do is I can use our service catalog. So I'm going to go to catalog management here. So right here what we have is our service catalog. What we're looking at are what we call templates. These are just frameworks and descriptions of different services that people can request. So you'll see right here that we have some virtual machines for our service templates. We also have some storage. And what that means, these are essentially our building blocks. For me, these are the tools that I can use to put together a package so that when Luis needs to make a request, I have some service offerings that are available to him. And so he said he wanted a lamp stack. Now, take this with a grain of salt. This isn't necessarily how you'd always set up a lamp stack, but this is one possible way you could do stuff. So we have a MySQL virtual machine. We have storage for it. We also have some additional storage we could tack onto it. So the very first thing I'm going to need is I'm going to need some kind of container to put it all in. I'm making this package. Because he doesn't want to have to worry about all the parts inside. He just wants his package of, hey, it's the lamp stack. So let's make that easy for him. Let's call this a lamp stack. We got a container. We don't have to put things in here if we want, but for tags, but it's just useful for us. So we got lamp. And also, we can start including some of the services right now from some of our service templates. So we've got a virtual machine. We've also got OS storage to go with it. We got some shared storage. Let's include that. So they come up there. And we'll save the template. This will redirect me back to my service catalog. And I see now that I have a lamp stack. But I actually need a few other parts. So we're going to want an Apache virtual machine. So it's just a spot for that. So let's call it Apache VM. Pick for our template types, going to be a virtual machine. And then just some tags that I can use later. And we also need to pick a job template. As an admin, I'm expected to have some knowledge of how Moab's working. These job templates refer to that. So the most basic way of saying it is that this is what lets Moab know how to set up a VM. And these instructions I'm picking. So we have a generic VM. And so the other part is that traditionally what happens is Luis in the past, he's maybe had like a specific form that had to be created by me or maybe someone else. And they filled out that form, and that's what got them their lamp stack. In this case, it's possible that I don't even know HTML or JavaScript. Maybe I don't want to make a form, or maybe my time's just more valuable than that. What we have here is I need to now define how Luis is going to ask for, how he's going to define what he's asking for. So I've got this Apache VM. I need to know how many procs it has. I need to know how much memory it has. And I need to know what options I'm going to give to him. Because he might want to ask for as much as he possibly could, because he's a typical user in that instance. So what we see right here is that, first of all, we have some pre-populated parts to what we're basically building as a form. This is a form that we're building. And So every VM, we're expecting to have some processors and some memory and some kind of image on it. This part up here, the header caption, this is just for his information. I could put something here like, hi, Luis. There, you're going to see that on his form. All right. Okay, time's a little strapped. Okay. Basically, the main point of this is that I can set the default values, the minimum and the maximum. I can set the threshold, the constraints that he can pick from. Because maybe Luis, maybe he's always asking for way too many processors. And I'm like, what you're doing, you don't need that much. So I could leave it like this and say, hey, the maximum you get is 4. And I could also make it so that instead of even giving him a range to pick from, I could say, hey, it's not even editable to you. I'm just saying you get 2. And that's all you get. Or, he keeps asking for so many processors. There's a chance that he doesn't know what a processor is. So maybe I should just hide the problem from him entirely. And we're just going to click that visible to user. So he's not going to see it. So when he makes the request, when he sees the form using this template, he's not going to actually see how many processors it does. But in the background, it's going to request 2 processors. There's also the option here where we could add additional fields, because it'd be very presumptive to say that this is all I'll ever need for the information, but there are different environments for different people. Right now, I'm just trying out stuff, though. I could pick all these different kinds of widgets. I could pick checkboxes, drop-down list, a date picker. I don't need those now. I'm trying this out, so let's just go with our defaults for the moment. So I can save the template. And it'll take me back to the service catalog. And again, we're a little strapped for time, so we also need OS storage for our VM. So we're going to go, forget the tags, OS storage. The defaults are probably actually fine for me on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and save it. And now that I have these 2 other templates, I need to add them to the package I was building. So I started work on this lamp stack one already. If I go to included templates, I don't have those 2 I just made. Let's add them in there. So Apache VM and that. Okay. And okay, now the other part is I just need to put together what order is going to be built in. How does everything relate to each other? So I've got my OS storage for both of them, for both the VMs. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so if I want my virtual machine, my SQL virtual machine to be using the associated OS storage, just link them up. And we also have this concept of shared storage. It's possible that I might want some just additional storage sitting out there that I can have both these have access to. Link it up like that. Take that, save it. Okay, and now if I go to catalog management, so I still have that there. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to let Luis go ahead and use it, and he should see the lamp stack that I created for him.
Okay, so, forgot to turn this on. So at this point, the end user would be able to submit the service from template. So when the user goes to the service catalog, he only sees the containers that currently exist. So I see the lamp stack just as I had requested, and like Ken explained, we will see all the components inside that lamp stack container. We will see a MySQL virtual machine, the OS storage, the shared storage, and the Apache VM with with a caption that Ken added. Yeah, and for the Apache VM, you'll notice that there are no procs, so I can only customize the amount of memory. So I'm happy with this. I like the defaults that Ken prepared for me. So I just add it to the cart. And from here, from the cart, I can actually see how much it costs for the setup fee, the recurring fee, and all all that information regarding the cost. And yeah, I can just submit that lamp stack. So I could, at this point, go to the requested actions to actually see some more information on the detailed steps of what is going on. So I can see right now that there's the storage is actually being created right now, and the VM setup for one of the VMs is still going. By the way, I would just like to add something. When Ken was doing that service catalog design, the arrows actually have meaning in the LAMP stack, or add meaning to the LAMP stack. They basically define dependencies between all the components. So the way you design things, you will have the OS storage pointing to the VMs, and then the shared storage pointing to the VMs too. What this means is that the VM setup process can only start once the storage is ready. So this is why when we go to the requested actions, I'm now seeing that the storage is currently being created, but the VM is still idle. The setup job for the VM is idle because it's waiting on the storage. So I could also go to the services at this point and actually see this brand new dashboard that we created with a list of all my services. So I can see my LAMP stack in here. It's a container, and I can drill down onto it and see more information about all the components inside that container, like the shared storage, the VMs, and all those things. Now notice there's also this status information that gives me real-time information on what's going on. So under the hood, what happens is the setup process actually pushes information into our web services so that we can know in real time what is going on. So this is a pretty cool feature. So for instance, right now the storage has been created, but we can see that the VM is being created in xCAT right now. I think that's all I had, true, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll hand over control to Ken.
Okay, so I gave him a service template he could use. Now let's see what he's done with it. What's the damage? So I can see already here that some of my nodes are already being used. I could go ahead and get a more specific view. Yeah, okay. So we see that some of them are just in a normal state, and some of them are actually being provisioned, because that's the one that he's using. So I could actually go ahead and filter that easily if I wanted, like so. But the other thing about this page is that I also have these other filters here. So if I wanted to see, for example, if it has pending actions, the same one I just looked at. But there's a few filters here that I can go ahead and massage my data to see how the heck he's using the service template that I gave him. I could also go ahead and
Drill down on that one.
This one?
Yeah.
Sure.
The one that actually has VMs. So that.
Yeah, so I see the VMs, I see the IP addresses. I see how much memory they got. I can also go ahead, and similar to what Luis did, I can go ahead and see also the LAMP stack as well. And that lets me make decisions about maybe that was too much I gave him, maybe it wasn't enough, and making sure that everything's going smoothly for him. That's all I needed though, right?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
So I'll just wrap this up real quick. Now the end user has submitted the VMs. They're being provisioned and all those things. So at this point, the end user would be able to go to the Moab Accounting Manager and actually see information about what has he been charged for. So in the Accounting Manager, the user would be able to display the balance. And as we can see, we originally had $5,000, but we now have less because I'm actually consuming resources. And I could also go to the usage records and get a more detailed view on all the individual pieces that I got charged for. So this concludes the part of our demo. And we're actually at 11:25. So let me see what else do I have here. I can. Yeah. Okay. So let me just cover highlights at a glance. So this is a complete stack with a UI layer and a hardened xCAT integration. We also have an HPCSA integration that I didn't show in here, but that is actually another presentation this afternoon that you can attend if you want more information on that. We did some major UI advancements. There's a new UI look and feel for those of you that know the product. You probably have noticed that. We have integrated the Accounting Manager with our solution. We have created this brand new service catalog, which we're really excited about because it simplifies a lot setting up things for our customers. We have the brand new dashboards for services and nodes. We also allow for some health monitoring so that if you have a resource manager that can feed information on the health of the services and nodes, we can actually push that information into the dashboards and you will see them in red when things are down. Actually, if I can't show that right now, but if I were to turn off one of the machines, you would see one of the tile that represents that node become red, so that the admin would immediately be aware of that. So we also started developing in Grails, and the reason why we're mentioning this is that it's a lot easier for ProServe and even customers to do customizations on our portal if necessary. Like I said in the beginning of this presentation, we're also including our first release of our web services. They contain a REST API, and they also contain a resource manager layer. For those of you that might know a lot about how things work under the hood in our solution, Moab has the concept of a resource manager, which is the piece that gives it information on how the environment looks like. We now created this really cool plugin infrastructure and web services so that you can easily develop new resource managers. And I'll end the presentation here.